Coming up, America's apparently back in business. Hit the music. Too long, but it's podcast time. I'm Al.
And I'm Mikayla.
And welcome to the Why You Yeah podcast.
I don't know why mine led into a laugh.
I don't know why either. These things happen though.
Yeah.
Before we get into today's pleasantries, there's some things that we need to handle first. First things first, we apologize for not having an episode last week.
We sorry.
We wanted to do it.
We did.
And so much stuff happened where we could not. And we were even
happened.
Yeah, we were even going to do like we were going to do like a 30-minute episode, but then, you know, I was tired, like
I was
dog tired, and then Saturday plans changed and things happened, and then Sunday we just ran out of time.
You know what? We just not gonna do it.
Yeah. So we apologize because we know
I hope
you need
you guys
that.
listen to old episodes in place of that.
I'm telling you,
to hold a void.
Some of those. This week. If you got to get caught up, or if you skip some episodes, you can always go back, double back to those old ones.
Yes.
That's number one. Number two, my favorite part.
That's nasty.
You should have. Ain't nobody talking to you about no number two. Numero dos.
What?
We have finally launched on Patreon, everybody.
Hey.
As a matter of fact, we've got 3 patrons. Two of them are at our $10 tier. I'm going to break this down for you, and I'm going to give them a shout-out in a minute. Okay. But, so, our Patreon right now is 3 tiers. All of them right now are just for supporting the show. And what we're looking to do in the near future is to be able to expand and be able to give more content as we're able to start, well, maybe not we, maybe more me, as I am able to move farther away from having to do work. So I didn't take down the other one's name, so I feel bad. I should have wrote it down.
What is saved on your phone? It
is on my phone, and then of course I've got the camera controlling from my phone.
Right.
Shoot, I'm gonna have to do it. I gotta get the names. Pull up the Patreon. I'm sorry. I should have been more prepared. But it's right here. So we've got 3 tiers, like I was saying before.
1, 2,
Our first
3.
tier is the $3 tier, and it's called the breakfast tier.
Breakfast.
And that's just our introductory tier. There won't be anything like special with that one. And then we have our $5 tier, which is the win as winners tier.
I'm a win as a winner.
You get to support the channel more, but for $2 more. Isn't that nice?
Come on now.
Throw that extra deuce in there. That's terrible. And then we've got our $10 tier, which is our bunch bowl. I'm gonna call them, and I know you're gonna talk about me. I'm gonna call them the Bunch Bowl Patrol, because they putting down money. And on that tier, you will get a shout out from us by name. And I don't know if I should give their last names, but the first one who hit our $10 tier is Ryan, my coworker, who has been very supportive from the first time he listened to us, and he's been giving me great advice. He's the one that's like, I don't know why you don't have a Patreon yet. I was like, you know what? I don't know why I won't have one either.
Thanks, Ryan.
Yeah. So thank you, Ryan, for everything that you do. Yeah. He actually gave me some tips on how to start streaming on Twitch, and that might be something that I do because I'm tired of working. And then the second one is Emily, and she is also very supportive of us. She will tweet about us on her Twitter. As a matter of fact, when I got the notification, she then said something on Twitter too, so I was able to respond. Nice. And it was like, hey, so now we're doing all right. Our third one, our third patron is in our $3 tier. We thank you so much. I don't know how to say it.
What you mean?
She's not in the $10 tier, so I'm not able to like give her a shout out because I want to be fair to those who are paying a little extra for that. But I do.
Shout out to you, patron.
Yes, shout out to you, patron. Like Kayla said, I don't know what I'm talking about. It's been too long since we've done the show, and there's a little bit of a rust.
Been so long.
But we do encourage everyone, if you are interested in supporting the show, go to www.patreon.com /YUPod and support the show today. We have something planned for actual swag, and I am so excited about what we're going to do. I know you guys are going to love it.
Items.
Yes.
Stuff and such.
Once we iron it down and figure it out, you guys will be the first to know, and you guys will want to join the higher tiers. Trust me on that one.
Right.
Now for our
Wait,
final...
sorry. Did you, because I'm old and my mind's getting bad.
Right.
But did you already explain like what Patreon is and all that stuff for people who don't know?
Oh, okay. I did not. I just explained that Patreon is a site where they you could give money to your favorite creators. Okay. But a better way to explain it is Patreon was created to help content creators be able to directly speak to their fans, and their fans be able to directly support monetarily their favorite content creators.
Right.
And that site is also, you get you can get special perks. I can't speak today. You can get one-on-one time with us.
Special. I like that. It should be on the shirt. We're gonna add that to like Bunch Bowl and Brick Sticks.
You make me sick. No, but what was I saying? Oh, you can get special things. We're working on merchandise. We're working on things where you guys would, if you do support us, you will get some free swag to go with that, and be able to talk to us face to face. I know sometimes I'm busy at work and you're busy, so people will comment on our Instagram stuff, and it'll be a while before we get to it. Or sometimes, and I know me, I'll look at it. I'll look at someone's comment, and then I'll comment in my head, and then I don't say anything. And I'm like, but I commented. Yeah.
I do that mentally sometimes with text messages.
Yeah, it's bad, and we don't mean it. It just kind of happens. But
we get back to you.
Exactly.
We always do.
So if you find it in your hearts to support what we're doing right now and want to help us grow and be able to have more free time to put into this and turn it into what I believe will be one of the best podcasts out there, go to the website, as I mentioned, and join one of our tiers. It doesn't have to be the top one. It can be any of the other ones. Anything you can do to support us will be greatly appreciated.
Thank you, guys.
Yes, we really appreciate every single one of you. Now for our last bit of business before we get into the actual topics of today. So a few weeks ago, we did an episode, and it happened to be the episode where I did not properly connect everything, and our sound wasn't that great. But we were playing the game, The End, and there was one card that I did not answer. I knew I wanted to answer it in the future, and I was going to do it on Friday, but then, life.
Didn't record. Sorry.
Dying on the side of the microphone.
Leave me alone.
But to give a little bit more backstory in case you guys did not listen to that episode, and we don't blame you if you didn't, because...
Did you fix the camera back?
Oh, I did not. So I can't even see how it look. My bag.
That's what you got me for, the hip out.
That my bag. Watch it not pop back up for me.
I'm your right-hand person. I know everything.
You right. Yeah, see, it's still going. Appreciate you. Okay, so we've been playing the game called The and we got the couples edition, which are the long-term couples edition.
Because we long-term in this thing.
And for this one, is basically like things that we can talk to each other about to, I guess, strengthen our marriage and relationship with each other.
Yeah.
And one of the cards that really stumped me, it was describe our most intimate experience that surprised us. And I honestly have been thinking about it for a while since we did it. And I did come up with something, and I wanted to share it with you, and then we'll get into some of this heavy stuff.
Sorry, I'm coughing.
No, you're good. Well, before I answer this, so Kayla got her second COVID shot yesterday.
Day before yesterday.
Her vaccine shot.
I'm fully vaccinated.
Yeah. So we're recording on Saturday evening. We would have recorded yesterday, but she was feeling the effects of the vaccine. I was like, no, baby.
Had all my chills.
Yeah.
Body aches. I was wrapped up.
Yeah.
And my jacket and the blanket.
I walked in the house from work. It was hot.
I had to
Kayla had on layers. I was like, baby.
I was like, I'm cold.
I walk in the house. I'm flop sweating. What are we doing in here? But
I didn't grow a tail, and I'm still alive.
That's right. So we pushed it to today so that she could have more energy because she'd be like, yeah, right.
I was able to. I woke up and I didn't feel none of that what I felt yesterday. And went to work and slayed them heads.
Right.
And came on home.
So if you hear like coughs and sounds, it's I don't even think
it's the remnants because my left node is actually swollen.
Yeah. So and some stuffiness too because the earth is fornicating with itself like it do
and
every
spring. And that's just allergies right there.
And it's the fact that the earth fornicates with itself. It just does not sit right with me that we are standing in the middle of like earth jizz. This is going in the wrong direction. Anyway, let's get back to this card. So the card says, describe our most intimate experience that surprised us. And speaking from my experience, what it was for me was the first time I actually allowed myself to be fully vulnerable. And I talked to you about some things that had happened in previous relationships that I felt super guilty over. And I broke down crying to you. And in that moment, and I said this a long time ago, we unconsciously test our partners to see how they'll act in certain situations. And in other situations like that where I would cry, the vibe, like their energy would change. And because of like my trauma, I'm so in tune with energy changes. And it was a sense of like I did not have the free range or free safe space to cry. And when I did with you, I could feel how different it was from you, and you were actually there to like support me and let me know that I could be vulnerable. And it surprised me because it had never happened in any of my previous relationships. It was always, I don't know what you're crying for, or,
Judgment.
Yeah.
Or like they didn't know how to like react because a lot of people, like if somebody cries in front of them, they're like, oh, what do I do now?
Yeah. And it's like.
And then it gets awkward and weird.
Yeah. And
I have like that nurturing, like,
Yeah. And I think that was another one of those moments where I was like, okay, this is actually going to be a really good relationship where I don't feel like I'm giving so much and receiving half in return.
He was like, she gonna be the one.
Yeah.
Because she gets me.
Exactly. And even now I'll have moments where like, I'll get mad about something and I'll just go off. And at the end of it, I'll be like, but it doesn't matter. And then you'll say, well, your feelings are valid and you deserve to feel how you feel. And I'm like,
because before you were so used to people throwing away your feelings and not really caring.
Yeah.
So it's like when you say, oh, it's cool, it don't matter what I think anyway. And I'll be like, nah, you need to say what's on your mind because your feelings are valid.
And
if you hold it in, it gets worse. So I want you to let it out.
Exactly. So that moment specifically, because it was early in our relationship, that I was like, oh, okay, all right, we might be doing something here.
Right.
And I wanted to answer that question because I knew that was whatever that the moment I would remember was. It was an important stepping stone in our relationship. So it had to be something. I just didn't want to be like, oh no, I'm just gonna pass it. No.
He's like, I need to think about that one.
Exactly.
Excuse me. You knew you were gonna come back to it then.
Yeah. And we would have done it last week, but life. Oh. Okay. So now we're going to get into the topics for today. Before we get into it, the subject matter will be heavy.
Really?
So, well, yeah, because we're.
We talking about a couple of things.
Yeah, we're talking about a couple of things.
Right.
So, one of them will deal with death. So, if you have a trigger warning with those, we do understand if you want to fast forward or to skip out on this episode altogether, because it's a heavy subject and it's hard to talk about. But unfortunately, this is America. So saying that, what we want to talk about today are the situations that have happened with the mass shootings that happened. One was in Atlanta. The other one was in Boulder, Colorado. And actually, another one happened last night in Philadelphia. And yeah, I didn't even I saw it on social media, and I was like, man, I did so much trying to get this information down, and then saving the last part for the other topic that I don't have any.
Is that the one where the cop was killed?
The one in Boulder.
Oh,
the one in Boulder was on with the cop.
Oh, okay.
The one last night, it's still, I don't know if people have died. I don't know what exactly is going on with that because I didn't get a chance to look into it. Gotcha. But what I do have here, and I'm going to read a bit if that is okay with you.
That's fine.
And we're going to talk about the first one, then we'll talk about the second one, and we'll go from there. Sounds good? Mm-hmm. All right. So this happened on March 16th. And we were going to talk about this one last week. I just want to let everybody know this was the topic for last week. So 21-year-old Robert Long drove to Young's Asian Massage near Ackworth and killed 4 people. He then drove to the northeast part of Atlanta, 30 miles away, to the Gold Spa where he killed 3 more women. He then walked across the street to the aromatherapy spa and killed another woman. In total, 6 Asian American women were killed, and 2 were, I believe, Caucasians, but they did not give the ethnicity of the other woman. And as much information as I tried to find, couldn't happen to find what at that point when I was looking, I couldn't find the information. And 1 Hispanic male was injured. Long was apprehended after a car chase, and his parents provided information to law enforcement to locate him. His possible motives, and I hate having to say this, but he said that he had a sex addiction that led to him committing these crimes. Now, those are the facts. That's a good chunk of the facts. I don't have too much more information. How do you feel about the fact that his quote unquote motives is sex addiction? It's hard to say.
I didn't read a whole lot about the story. I just heard about it when it came out. So I didn't do a whole lot of research on it. So I didn't know all those facts you just told me. I'm trying to wrap my head around understanding what the sex addiction got to do with you killing these Asian Americans and Caucasian and Latino. Or not Latino because it's a guy.
Yeah, it was a guy. He was shot. He's okay. I don't understand
the correlation. First of all, I don't understand the correlation of murder anyway.
Right.
But what does that have to do with anything? Because you went to, it was focused towards Asian hate because you went to these Asian spas.
Yep.
So I don't understand what sex addiction got to do with it.
Well, let me preface this as saying this is a correlation of things that I see when it comes to these mass shootings.
Oh, I know where you're going with this.
Yeah. So whenever these things happen, and the shooters, the murderers, because that's what they are, they are always apprehended, and whatever their motives are, there's never a real accountability for what they've done.
Right.
It's always something else. There was a gentleman years ago who he killed a bunch of people and then killed himself. He had videos that he had put up on YouTube, and he stated that he was going to do it because he was, I wrote it down, it's on the next one. He was an incel. Do you know what an incel is? Incel is involuntary celibate, and they typically blame women for the fact that they don't have sex lives. You never heard that before?
I have not.
Yeah, involuntary celibate.
So it's not that he want to be celibate. He's celibate because no woman wants him.
Yeah,
no woman.
So
wants to have sex with him.
Basically, what incels do is they look at what women, the type of men that they are attracted to, and they're like, these women would never be with me or anything like that. And that's why I don't have a girlfriend or I don't have a sex life or anything like that.
So
and
basically, he was moping and feeling bad for himself because certain women didn't want to be with him.
Yeah.
And then blame that on the fact that he went out and shot all these people.
Well, this what I'm saying is that I'm not saying that that's who he was. I'm saying that a lot of people believe that that's who he was. Mm-hmm. So his sex addiction probably came from.
No, I ain't talking about this particular guy. I'm talking about the guy you.
The guy I was talking about. Yeah. So instead of it being, he just wanted to harm people and kill them before he killed himself. It was, these women are the reason why I am doing this because they wouldn't choose me.
Yeah, focusing more on that instead of the actual he murdered people.
Exactly.
And then I get what you're saying too, because like in other shootings they'll be like, well, they were mentally unstable or they have a history of being bipolar or something like that.
Yeah.
They would like go through all of this and say this is the reason why, other than just saying like they are murderers and they wanted to harm people.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So in this case, what I believe, and this is speculation, like more facts of the case will be coming out over time. But what I do believe is that this gentleman had a Asian porn fetish and just filled his time with all of that and just felt that he was never going to get the type of women that he lusted over. So he decided to walk in and kill these people. And you also have to look at the fact that when COVID broke out and the ex-president was spewing this rhetoric about the virus coming from China, it brewed this hatred, this deeper hatred for Asian people, Asian Americans, and these violent acts have been enacted against them. Mm-hmm. So now we have a situation where a man goes through and kills 6 Asian women and kills 2 other people because they happen to be there getting their treatment, their spa treatment, their massages, because he has a sex addiction. I can't say addiction. It's so hard to get out, but it's one of those things where everybody has issues.
Yeah.
Everybody has issues. But taking the lives of innocent people is not the answer for your issues. Mm-mm. You mean to tell me you can reach out to anybody and talk to them about the issues that you have? It just has to be, well, I gotta kill these people because I can't have what I want from them.
Right.
Like I don't understand that. There are some more facts that I have here. So the gun that he purchased for the shootings, he purchased the day before, because Georgia does not have a waiting period. About that. Yeah. As a matter of fact, and I found this, Georgia does not require a waiting period, and most background checks can take 100 seconds if there are no immediate flags to their background check.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
I got to list my sources: CNN.com, Newsweek.com, 11alive.com, and the USA Today. I did my research. I'm trying to get
so like any other place, because I don't know much about Google.
Right.
Like if you were trying to get one, how long does that normally take? I thought people can get it the same day. Certain places.
Some places.
Texas, you can get it.
I think Texas is same day. There are some areas.
I sound so country. Ain't in Texas.
You can get a gun pretty quick.
But you know what I'm saying.
I do. Yeah, I think in Texas it's pretty instant. It's probably the same thing. States that are more Democrat, it's almost 3 days you have to wait. And then in more red states, it's almost instant. And then, my frustration with this whole thing is that too many innocent people are dying because of a mindset. A lot of this, I believe this shooting and the next shooting that we're going to discuss, these mass murders, does stem from white supremacy. And it's so ingrained in people's minds and almost into the fabric of the country that when these things happen, everybody knows the playbook of how it's all going to play out. If the shooter does not take their own lives, they will be apprehended and they will see their day in court. Now, if you flip it, and I really hate to have this conversation, but it's always constant and prevalent. If these shooters were black or Hispanic or Middle Eastern, they would not live. They would die. in a shootout with police.
Right.
The one that happened in Dallas years ago, that shooter was black. He didn't see his day in court.
Right.
Matter of fact, I believe they used a robot to blow up wherever he was. I think he was in a car, and I think they blew up the car he was in. So it's like, okay, and again, people who murder other people deserve to get what they give. However, if the system says you have to see your day in court, there needs to be it should be even.
Right.
But in this case, this piece of trash will see his day in court. But what doesn't need to happen is people in law enforcement, specifically by the name of Captain Jay Baker, who downplays it and says that, well, he had a bad day, wow. And it's
somebody murdered multiple people, and you just like, oh, he just had a bad day.
Yeah, he had a bad day, and like, this is what he did.
Say anything like that?
What's worse is
that's so dismissive to the families that that have to go through that.
We've become so desensitized to the fact that people don't care about other people.
Yeah, they don't think about emotions. Because I can't imagine being a family on the other end of like watching the that cop say that. Like, I just lost my family member, and you just saying, oh, the person that killed him just had a bad day.
It's like, oh, these things happen. He woke up on the wrong side of the bed and just reached under that side of the bed and grabbed his gun and went and killed people. Like stuff like that. It bothers me so much. But what I was getting ready to say was that captain months before had shared a racist meme about Asian Americans. Wow. About COVID and that it came from China. So
on his social media?
Yeah. So
and he kept it on there too?
Of course. See, when
he
people
probably took it off at one point, but people probably screenshotted it.
I'm pretty sure once it was brought up to their attention that it was there, then it became, oh, so this is why you're saying what you're saying. You probably, when you saw what happened, you was like, I'm glad someone did it because I was gonna do it, but now I don't have to.
Crazy.
I'm trying to not let it make me emotional, but all I feel is this anger because all I keep thinking about are these innocent people who have done nothing. Well, everyone has done something, but they are just living their lives and trying to make it through the end. Well, the pandemic isn't ending. We're finally getting over the hump and could get to a point where there will be some semblance of normalcy. But these people are just living their lives, and you walk in and you murder them.
I mean, that just makes you scared to even go, places.
Anywhere.
Like, you already scared to go places because of COVID.
Yeah.
Okay, then, you're getting vaccinations now, so you feel a little bit better. Going out and doing stuff, like going to the spa and trying to get some type of relaxation and stuff like that happen. Yep. So it's like what? Like, what do I do now?
I don't understand it. Then, 6 days later, 21-year-old Ahmad Alawi Alisa walked into a King Soopers grocery store in Boulder and killed 9 civilians. And then when a cop came to assess the situation and try to, I don't want to say de-escalate, but engage, he was murdered. Alisa was armed with a modified Ruger AR 5.66 pistol with an added arm brace and a 9mm handgun. He was arrested after, I guess after he shot everybody, he took off all his gear, his armor, and was just walking around in his underwear and surrendered himself to the police. His potential motive, because, when these things happen, the first thing they think of, well, why did he do it? Because sometimes they don't tell you why they did it. They just do stuff. It could be that he was a loner who wanted to enact revenge on people because he was bullied in high school. Again, mass shooter bingo. May have been an incel.
These are just like accusations, like they didn't ask him.
They asked family members.
Oh, okay. And this is what the statement.
One of the sources that I read spoke to his brother. And my sources, of course, CNN.com, NewYorkTimes.com, and I have the dictionary. I have the definition of incel that I got from UrbanDictionary.com, which is a person, usually male, who has a horrible personality and treats women like sex objects. So in that situation, it's the same thing.
Right.
Now, this wasn't targeted to a specific race of women and people. This was just random people.
And just shoot anybody.
Exactly. And again, even though his name sounds Middle Eastern, a lot of people were saying he's white. And I don't know if he is, because I saw the picture and I'm trying to like put the two pieces together, but it doesn't matter what his ethnicity is.
He's still white people.
10 people living their regular lives are no longer here because of selfishness, because this gentleman did not reach for any sort of therapy, any sort of help. They just decided to take their guns and go shooting. It will take a lot for me to wrap my head around stuff like this, but it keeps happening over and over. And a lot of people, the mindset now, and this is something that I've read, is now it's like when a mass shooting happens, you're just like, it wasn't me this time. So I'm glad that I get to be here another day. But will it be me next time? When I went to Best Buy today, the first thing I thought was, I got to keep my eyes open. I went to the back of the store because I had to get a new charger for my laptop because mine got frayed. It was like 6 years old. And the first thing I thought was, where are the exits just in case I need to break out of here really fast? And it shouldn't be like that.
Right.
We should be free to go to our stores, our clubs, our schools, and live our lives without people coming in and wanting to murder us just because we happen to be in the building.
Like, stuff like that is just so scary.
It is.
Just to even think, like, you can just be doing something regular that you think is like your everyday normal, and then something like that could happen. Exactly.
Someone said they spoke to a professor at their school, and it was actually a picture of, it was a guy who had it looked like he had a rifle strapped to his back, and they were in line getting food. And this person was like, if you see someone who is dressed like a shooter or happens to have like a gun, strapped to their back, the time that you'll have to determine whether or not this is a potential active shooter moment is about a second. So if you see him, just go ahead and leave, because that might be your only chance to get out of there.
Especially
and survive.
If you feel something real quick and you got a question, and it's like, you know what, let me just leave.
Yeah. If that feeling in your gut pops up where I don't know, always go with it could be and just get out of there. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to be like, oh, well, it's okay, and then end up not going home to see your family, or to be that light in your neighborhoods and your communities that we always say that people should be. So again, this stuff,
'cause I do that sometimes, like at gas stations. If I pull up to one and somebody just like looking real like weird, like, and I'll be like, you know what, let me just go to another one, just go home.
Yeah. They'd be like, that gas is gonna be there tomorrow. Let me not put myself in this situation.
Because you always hear about a gas station robbery or a shootout or something like that. So it's like, I don't even want to, like,
nope, don't want to risk it.
Or when I do it, I just make sure it's either like early in the morning or like it's a lot of people there, so that, if anything pop off, there's other people there.
Right. Now another situation happened. I mentioned the one in Philadelphia, but there was a situation. I didn't get a chance to write it down, so I'm just mentioning this. There was a Instacart shopper who was at I believe it was a Walmart, and he was using the restroom, and he could hear what sounded like someone in the bathroom stall loading weapons. So he notified, the sound of bullets being loaded into a magazine. He notified someone. Police arrested whoever was in the stall. That guy had 6 guns
on him
and was getting ready. Thank you.
Good job, buddy.
AD is here, by the way. He was getting ready to commit a shooting. This was in Atlanta.
Wow.
This was yesterday. And it's like, first of all, that guy's a hero. And when I read it, I should have wrote down the information so we can shout him out, because brother, it was a brother. It was a black. It was a black male. let me specify that. He was a black male.
You can shout him out next episode.
Yeah, my brother. But what am I talking about? But he didn't second guess it, especially with the area dealing with a mass shooting that had happened before. He didn't second guess it. He was like, "Let me handle this right now," and he did.
Saved some lives.
He saved
so that man had
dozens of
6 guns
lives.
on him?
6, 3 rifles, 3 handguns. I saw the picture of the guns.
He was all in the bathroom with the.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm like,
wait. So how did he even get in the bathroom with all of that?
See, okay. A lot of times you can get like things to hang off of you and have a big jacket on and no one can see it. They, this isn't like the Matrix when they walked in with the bags of guns and like, it's not like that. They'll just, and sometimes these shooters, what they do is if they're going into a store, they'll do their stuff in the car and then get out and just walk in and start, shooting people.
Whatever, yeah.
But the mindset that Instacart shopper had to go through, he had to think to himself,
"Hey, this don't sound right.
Yeah,
let me notify somebody."
It's like that sounds like a gun. Hey, sir, there's someone in the bathroom. Sound like he getting some guns together. I don't know, man. I honestly, how I feel about guns. Mm-hmm. I shot a gun one time. I was like 10, and I was like, never again. I just pray that it won't be me. And it's sad to say that, because a lot of people say, well, you need to get a gun. I shouldn't have to get a gun. I should be able to just live my life.
Still gonna get one though. We're just gonna have a lockbox.
Yeah.
Not that good stuff.
Because senior grab and search through everything. Gotta have,
Yeah, it's gonna be a lockbox tucked away, but we're still gonna get one.
Well, I gotta take the class because I hate guns. I just don't feel comfortable around them at all.
We both gonna take the class.
You gonna make me go?
I got people, they ready for it. Set up. I got clients as police officers. They was like, whenever y'all ready, let me know.
Okay.
Yep.
Y'all, I hate guns. I hate loud noises. I hate it. I just hate it. And the thought, just when you said it, I could feel the sweat trickle down the back of my neck. I was like, oh God. But
we playing all the video games that got the guns in it.
I mean, that's different.
Because it ain't real.
Because it's guns and it's digital, and I don't be killing people in the games that, like, because I play Grand Theft Auto. I don't kill people that are civilians. I kill the people in the missions because they're bad guys. Well, I'm a bad guy too in the game. So what am I talking about? Anyway, let's move on to the next topic.
Okay, on to a lighter subject.
We're moving on to a lighter subject.
Relationship subject.
We know about relationships because we in one.
All right, some of you may know who Derrick Jaxn is.
Who that is?
And for those of you who don't know, I'm about to tell you.
Who is he?
All right. Let me pull out my trusty dusty note.
It's funny because you said pull out like it ain't been out this whole time.
I know. Anyway, all right. So there's a video going around.
The way you made that sound. So there's a video going around. It's of Kim K proportions. Okay.
Anyway,
it was booties everywhere.
The video is listed and titled as "Did I Cheat in My Marriage?" That's already gonna get somebody's attention, right?
Did I cheat?
Did I? Why do you have to ask the question?
This is a rhetorical question.
Anyway, so I'm gonna tell you who Derrick Jaxn is first. So, self-love, self-made relationship guru. Keyword self.
Self.
From Alabama, attended Tuskegee.
Oh man.
He dropped a few.
He dropped the futon.
Dropped a few books, like relationship books and fictional love books. Also dropped a book about cheating. That's funny.
Yo.
Well, it's not funny, but it's
ended
funny.
up being a handbook.
So, married his college sweetheart. Her name's Derrick Jaxn.
Denial.
Let's see. Ooh, that's a good one.
You're welcome.
They got married in 2018. They got 3 kids, 2 by her, 1 by somebody else before they got married. So that means he was dipping in somebody else too. Because if that's his college sweetheart, then he got another baby, and then got 2 by her. So
in the video, he said he was married previously. So it was from a previous marriage. Yeah, and then His
So I
college,
guess
he went back to his college
I guess he was with her,
sweetheart.
then went to somebody else, then went back.
Yeah,
He doing a lot of backtracking.
I don't know.
Anyway, so that's who Derrick Jaxn is, y'all. Now, moving on to the video. Hold on. Okay.
Your nose is funny. I'm looking at it like.
So he was exposed by this lady. They said the lady name.
Mistress
Lady, whatever. Well, is she a mistress? Because they have been dipping with each other for a minute. So
dipping.
She was like basically the other woman, not the mistress. Because like she was like the second.
So she was the girlfriend, not the mistress. Because
right.
Apparently it's all
he
different.
Had some others too.
So
them others
homie had a roster.
Mistresses. And then this was like, Anyway.
Okay. So it's not the side piece. This is the girlfriend.
Basically.
It's not the mistress. It's the girlfriend.
Basically.
It's not the wife. You get what I'm saying. I'm sorry.
Anyway,
Go ahead.
So he flew her out.
Ooh, got flued out.
They didn't even go to a hotel. Flew her out to their house. To the house where him and his wife and his kids live.
In the marital bed?
The girl took pictures in their bed. The bed that him and his wife sleep in. So they had receipts and proof and everything. Trifling already. Anyway, he admitted to cheating in the video. That's why he named the video.
Did I cheat? Yeah, I did cheat.
He admitted to cheating with that girl. He admitted to it being other women. He admitted to flirting with other people, having inappropriate things said as a married man to other women. Said that was inappropriate too. I mean, you already had sex with other women, so that was already inappropriate. What else can you do that's the worst than doing that too? I mean, there's other things you can do.
I mean,
but I'm just saying that's already bad, top tier bad.
Homie was doing all of it.
Everything else under that is like, ugh. Anyway, so in that video, he brought his wife into it. Keyword I said brought because her body language looked like she was like forced to be there, even though she said she stands by her man. She said she stands by him. When she first found out, she took the kids, left for a couple months or whatever. And then I guess after that, they worked it out and went through counseling and all this stuff. And so this was all happened last year. But the girl who outed him talked about it recently, which is why now the whole world knows about it.
Right.
And of course, people are like, well, is there a marriage? People need to stay out of stuff. But you can say that. But if you are calling yourself a relationship guru and you putting yourself out there for the world and then you up there condemning other men for doing this thing that you are doing now, then, hey, people going to have an opinion. And that's going to happen.
Yeah.
What you expect?
Yeah.
Anyway.
I guess, nope, I'm going to wait.
Okay. So before I get your take on it. Also, after this video came out,
he
made another video. A reaction video watching himself and his wife. And he was talking in third person as if he didn't know who the person was.
He was talking in third person in the original video with his wife. I was like, oh.
So like with the reaction video, he did the side by side and he was like, yeah, so as we're looking, I see that her body language is off and blah, blah, blah. And then
he thought that was funny. He read what people were saying and he thought, well, I'm just gonna go ahead and say what they saying to kind of like underplay it. Okay.
I was like, are you serious?
What's his name? Dexter?
Derrick.
Denise?
He says. And then so with all this story, he ended up being like Dunk of the Day with Charlamagne, Angela Gigi,
and Gigi, Charlamagne.
So he ended up being Dunk of the Day. And then Kev on stage did a video about him too, and he was like, that was basically like cheatception when he was doing the reaction video because it's like cheating inside of cheating, and then saying, it was crazy. Anyway, what's your ideas about all of this?
A hot mess is what I think. Okay, so one thing that's crazy to me is that he got to where he's at by basically trashing other men. Right. And what he was doing was pointing the finger at other people so that no one would point the finger back at him.
Because you're doing the same thing that you're talking about these other men for.
So if you talking about cheating and all this stuff, and you're the only reason why he's a self-appointed relationship guru is all he does is make videos and try to make men feel
And I ain't judging that by him making videos in his car.
No, it's just that's the style of the videos that he does.
But it's just the fact that he's like basically a hypocrite now.
Yeah. Now here's the here I had a thought and I'm trying to like bring it back.
Okay.
The thing is, in the video where he's sitting and talking with his wife, he was talking about, you know, becoming spiritually sound and having a stronger relationship with God because of this. The issue that I always have with stuff like that is that it's kind of convenient how people use religion as a trump card to get out of any situation that they're in. Oh, I cheated on my wife. Well, I'm going to church more and I'm praying and I'm hoping that the Lord change my heart and fix my ways. Or my wife and I handled this situation and we prayed about it and we worked through it and now we are stronger together in the Lord. Like, are you?
And that works, you know, for a lot of people when you're doing it right and your heart is pure and you're actually talking to God about it. But if you using God as a prop to basically still keep your image together because you don't want to mess up your image because you're this self-proclaimed guru and he's like, I still got to keep my followers and make sure people know that I'm still or that I'm in the word and all that stuff and you still trying to steal your book. So,
gotta sell the books.
You know, we working on stuff and God is working on our life and all that stuff, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I still think he full of it.
The issue, the deep-seated issue is that I'm not going to say this person's name, but he shared his experience. He was married. He was either married or he was with someone and they had kids together. His girlfriend or wife at the time always compared him to, what's his name? Derrick? Dexter. Anyway, and he, as a man, felt inadequate because he was always compared to this man. And then come to find out, he's been doing all this dirt for years. So it made him even more angry because he brought it up to his ex, and there was no accountability on her part. This man, and this is why I don't, like, we talk about our relationship, but when it comes to like actual relationship advice, I can't tell another person how they should handle their relationship because I am not a perfect human being. What if I do something and it be, oh, you told us we got to do all this stuff and you not doing it? That I don't want to be a hypocrite, and I don't want to put myself in a position. And I'm not saying I would. I'm just speaking in hypothetical. I'm just saying, like, you don't want to put yourself in that situation. Yeah. So this man ruined relationships trying to pretend that he's this perfect, all-knowing person about relationships when all he's doing is pointing his transgressions onto somebody else and saying, you're the one that's doing this, and you're the reason why your relationship is wrong because as a man, you're not doing this when he's doing it.
And the thing is, like, I know, like, he's been putting videos out forever. Like, even on Facebook, like, when I used to see his stuff, like, I didn't really watch it. Like, I would see, like, the start of it, and then I keep on scrolling.
Yeah, and be like,
you know, because sometimes it can be, like, a lot.
Yeah.
When you have these people who, I'm self-proclaimed this, I'm self-proclaimed motivational speaker. Like, okay, I love some motivational speakers, but some people just like hearing themselves talk. Yeah. And then that's when it gets oversaturated, and I'd be like, whatever.
Is that us? We like hearing ourselves? I'm sorry. Let me not interrupt you. Go ahead.
But people like hearing us.
They do.
That's the thing.
They do.
And we ain't hypocrites.
We not.
So anyway.
Well, I mean, I might be because I say I'm going to lose weight, and then I be eating all of AD's fruit snacks.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
we're working on it.
Go ahead.
So, hold on. You made me lose my
I'm
thought.
sorry.
It's
I'm
okay.
sorry.
Oh, so, okay. I said that to say this because he tried to focus on a certain demographic. So, because he was raised by a single mom, because his dad wasn't really in his life, and then come to find out, they said his dad is Jamaican too. People made jokes about that. They was like, Jamaican. Oh, I get it. His dad is Jamaican. Nothing against Jamaicans. I love Jamaicans. But, you know, they tried to
they always,
make it a stereotype.
Yeah. All they do is get high and cheat.
Anyway, so a lot of his videos were geared towards single women. Basically, you know, saying, you know, you don't need a man for this type thing, or if you get you a man, like, make sure he's up to this status and all that stuff, and he ain't even, up to that status.
He just wanted to keep them single so he can knock them down. I mean, let's be honest.
He would like do that and uplift a lot of women. That's why a lot of women loved his videos. Mm-hmm. And then he would bash men or try to hold them accountable, but you're not even holding yourselves accountable. And I heard a clip from one video that he had that Charlamagne played on the show, and he was bashing, cheaters. Talking about, I don't have no sympathy or no compassion for, men who can't stay committed to their wives and all that stuff. And it's like, okay, the whole time you was saying this, and you was cheating on your wife. And then, how people saw, like, the video of her, and then they would try to assume, well, no wonder he was cheating because this is that. That still don't, that don't mean that you need to cheat on your wife, okay?
They was dogging her
because she had the beanie on that she called the, what she said, the helmet of salvation.
Helmet of salvation. And
now that cracked me up.
Yeah, that was good. I just hate the fact that, when someone cheats, it's always the other person's fault.
Yeah, people always try to find a reason. Well, what did they do, or what were they lacking?
They was talking about her pantsuits, and they was
like her pantsuit outfits.
Someone was like, "I'd have cheat too, cause ain't no way I'm coming home to a deaconess every week, and she coming through wearing the 3-piece suit."
I'm done.
But honestly, he shouldn't have. Well, okay. I don't want to knock the man for his hustle because he got to where he was, and he knew his audience. He knew what emotional beats to hit to get to where he is. So I guess he gets props for that. But again, if you're going to point the finger at someone else,
right, point it back at you too.
You cannot be doing the dirt that you're trying to expose in other people. Because no, go ahead.
Because my thing is, with this ever had came out, had that other woman said anything in an interview publicly,
probably not.
Probably wouldn't have, because that's probably why his wife got so passionate, saying like, we handled this last year, so y'all just knowing about this, but we handle this. And I mean, it's none of our business because that's their marriage,
right?
But he made it kind of the world's business when you're ridiculing people for doing the same thing that you're doing.
Yep.
So. Yeah,
I refuse to point the finger at anybody else because we don't know what other people's situations are like. Mm-hmm. So, like, we're talking about this now because it's been put into the mainstream, and we're making jokes. But at the end of the day, if she's with him and they are still married, then that's the choices that they have decided to make. And if they're happy with that, and he has reformed, and he's not talking to any other women, and he's not in these streets or whatever, then cool.
And even if they're not happy, they still
do
what
even
they
if they're not.
Even if they got back together for him to sell that book and had an image.
I'm telling you,
the image of them being a happy married couple.
Yep.
Hey, that's them.
Like Girls Trip. That's exactly what Girls Trip sounds like, because they were together for the book, and then I don't want to get into the synopsis of Girls Trip, but
yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Honestly, I just think that, and I mean, this is going to sound hypocritical because we do a podcast and we open up ourselves to an audience of our peers that we have some of which we have never met, but. I prefaced it, and I can't remember what my thought was.
I was listening because I was like, what he about to say?
I got it. It's essentially like, you're opening yourself up, and at some point, someone's going to go digging for something to bring you down. If you're willing to be open and honest, then fine. And there will be ridicule that comes with it.
Right, regardless.
But again, you can't do all the things that you're doing for your audience and then try to do stuff in the dark, because eventually someone's going to find out, and eventually it's going to come forward.
And that's why when we do this, like the podcast, like, we make sure to be as pure as possible, like we just being us.
Yeah.
And it's always hard to put yourself out there anyway.
Yeah.
Like, even in my career, it's things I want to do, but sometimes I'd be scared to put myself out there because I don't want to hear comments or backlash or something, or people trying to judge me.
Yeah.
I'm sensitive. Erykah Badu, you said it best.
Yeah. I know.
But this. I don't want people to criticize like what I'm doing. But I know as me being in that industry, it's gonna happen regardless because everybody ain't happy about everything anyway.
People
so it's like
hate,
you just gotta do what you gotta do and just don't care about what people say sometimes.
Whether you know it or not, there is somebody out there that's hating on you just because you doing what you're doing right now.
Of course.
So, and I understand
so it's that. I just need to do what I do.
That's why sometimes I don't put myself forward because I know how harsh people are, especially with like acting and being a comedian. Mm-hmm. If you aren't a specific type of comedian, they don't think you're funny. If you're not out here doing all these stereotypes and stuff like that, like especially in the black community, they don't give you a chance. But if you out here doing all that shucking and jiving and sucking down watermelon and fried chicken and all that stuff, oh, that's funny. Oh, you funny, man. You going somewhere, bro, because you out here, you getting it. Am I? Or am I showing the dark side of white supremacy in entertainment? I mean, it's deep. There's a whole video, and I'm going to show it to you, where someone talked about how minstrel shows have evolved to the point where we now have King Batch at the place where he is. And it was actually really well done. When you see it, you're like, who's this white guy talking about King Batch and being a minstrel performer? But he broke down the background, and then he broke down what Vine was and how a lot of that was based on stereotypes and how a lot of those stars from Vine are now mega stars. Did you know King Batch is going to be the voice of Granddad when they do the Boondocks on HBO Max? And they didn't even let John Witherspoon's son, who does a pitch perfect voice of Granddad, do the show? Oh, really? Because they wanted King Batch. Oh,
I didn't know his son can do the impersonation too.
There's so much
that would have been like the first person I would have asked.
They had his son JD audition for Boondocks at his father's funeral, and they treated him like dirt. Oh, it's bad.
Wait a minute. Wait.
No, look, okay. That's a whole nother topic for another day. Because we gonna start heading to the end.
I know we kind of we going.
But all I'm saying is, with all of this gentleman, Dennis, what's his freaking name?
Derrick
Jaxn.
Oh, one more thing.
Okay.
Because his last name is Jackson, like Jackson, but he spells it for stage purposes Jaxn or something like that. And I was like, okay.
He thought he was doing something because he's selling books and got all this money.
I looked on his website. Them books he got sold out, and then that other one I think is either about to come out or just came out. The one with him and his wife.
Yep.
Oh, let me tell you the name of the one with him and his wife. Where I put that it? Cause they had the name. Dang, where I put it?
Oh well, you had so many notes, especially when you put this fast forward in there with the arrow and everything. Anyway, I had a point. There was a point I was getting to. Okay. As a black man, whenever you get any sort of notoriety, there will be someone who tries their best to bring you down, and sometimes it's because of stuff that you're actually doing. But other times it's because they just don't like the fact that you're black and you're getting any sort of shine.
Right.
So I'm waiting on my downfall. My downfall's gonna come. I'm waiting on
it. The downfall?
Uh-huh.
Why do you assume you're gonna have a downfall?
Because
don't even put that in the atmosphere.
Anybody who gets any sort of notoriety, look at Jay-Z. What did he do?
That was his fault. He cheated on Beyonce.
Okay, but there was a downfall, and now it took him forever to get back to where he's at. Now he's just used to be in the new Weekend with his hair looking the way it's looking.
He's still making money moves though.
I'm just saying there was a downfall at some point. Solange was beating his ass in the elevator because of it. So I'm just saying,
the name of the book is Heal Together Without Hurting Each Other.
Are we giving him not props? Are we giving him free reins to sell his book on our pod? Don't buy his book.
Everybody who heard the story probably didn't heard the name of the book.
They probably done bought it. It's probably sitting on their coffee table. Anyway, this guy, he just needs to pump his brakes. He shouldn't do any more videos for a while.
He don't need to pump nothing. Is what he don't need to do.
We were were going to do a 30-minute episode this week because of stuff, and then it turned into a regular episode.
It did.
I'm proud.
And AD did good the whole time.
He did.
Just came and told us he finished eating, and that's about it.
We're going to have to
Watching
go
his
in
Teen
there,
Titans.
though, and put eyes on him, make sure he's good. So let's get to our weekly motivation to get people through the rest of their week.
Weekly motivation.
Wow.
If you're gearing up for your second COVID shot, just get mentally prepared just in case you have some side effects like I did. Some people didn't have side effects. I ended up having them, but it wasn't too bad. It was just a day. And, my chills, I can't talk.
Yep.
My
You still got the symptoms.
My body aches.
It's the lymph nodes.
All that stuff. But today I'm fine. So just, protect yourself and your family. And if if you're not wanting to take it, no judgment there too. Mm-hmm. So, the people who are taking it and the ones who are not taking it, just don't judge each other. Yeah. Do what you can to keep your family safe. And that's all I can say.
Get you some extra strength ibuprofen for your body aches.
Especially for the inject. Yeah. And we can't talk today.
We can't. It's been so long.
Site, because that'd be sore for like 3 to 4 days.
Thank you.
Good job,
well, we know you're okay. Thank goodness.
Y'all heard that?
Are we bad parents?
AD said he pee-peed in the potty, y'all. We kept the light on for him like
Motel 6. We did.
What? We are awesome parents. What you mean?
Because he's actually been able to be in there for an hour.
He had food in there before we came in here to record.
Make it sound like a hamster. I put food in his bowl. I made sure he had water in his cup.
The wheel was going and everything.
Yeah, he was good.
You put the TV on so he could watch his favorite show, Teen Titans. It was good.
Now, if we go in there and it's a war zone, we got nobody to blame but ourselves. Okay, so my weekly motivation, I'm not going to, I can't talk. Yeah, we can't talk today. I talk a lot about work. And some things were kind of presented to me that seems like a good idea, but after sitting and thinking about it, my worth and in turn your worth isn't determined by anybody else. Sometimes you believe that you're suitable for a position or a promotion or an opportunity, and whoever is in charge can say that you're not and not give you that opportunity and pick somebody else. Your worth cannot be defined by anybody else. I've said this before, but that has been the theme of the last few months for me.
Real talk.
My worth is a lot. And maybe I should look at doing something else. And sometimes if you're in that situation, you shouldn't be afraid to take that leap of faith and bet on yourself. Because if something happens to you tomorrow, these jobs will clock you out and keep on moving. They don't care. So why should you? Unless that's the career you want to be in. So use that opportunity and those resources to better what you want to do with your life and move forward. Don't let them stress you out. 'Cause for why?
Life too short.
Life is way too short. We got too many outside factors that we have to worry about to be sitting on these jobs, letting them pay us to dwindle our creativity and our personality to suit what the business needs. These businesses have been around for 40, 50, 60 years and have had great employees come and go. You are going to be another one of them. Use that time to do what you want to do. And if somebody got an issue with it, hey, are you going to fire me? Because if not, you might as well leave me alone. We thank you so much for listening this week. We do, again, appreciate every single one of you. We thank our patrons for hooking us up and our new ones that will be coming right after they hear this episode.
Yes.
Best of wives and best of women. Yes. Hit them with the socials, please.
Before I do that, I want to send a special happy birthday shout out to my cousin, B Sharp, who also is the one who made our lovely YU cup.
Bellevia.
It's her birthday today, and we love you. Happy birthday.
Bellevia. We're recording this on Saturday.
Yes.
And speaking of which, Miss Belvia. We got this idea for something, and we're gonna be hitting you up when you get back from your birthday vacation to kind of facilitate this thing.
Yeah.
So be prepared, like Scar says on The Lion King.
That's fine.
Be prepared.
Okay, my social media. Mickey Styles IG, also Facebook, Mickey Styles Salon.
RWP _ on Instagram and Twitter. Almost said Instagram. The YU Pod _ on Instagram, YU Pod on Twitter, the YU Podcast on YouTube, and YU Pod on Patreon.com. Be sure to go there, check out the tiers, throw us your subscriptions, and that's going to be the place where you guys can actually interact with us.
Yeah. In
the near future, and this is something that I have been talking about, but again, my good friend and coworker Ryan gave me it was almost like a confirmation that streaming is in my future. I don't know when, I don't know how,
put it in the atmosphere,
but
one day
soon, by the end of this year, I will be streaming on somewhere. And sometimes when Mikayla has free time, she will join me because Mikayla makes me funnier. I'm just saying. So
we compliment each other.
Because it's time for Alfonso Davis III to be independent and be a free agent.
INDEPE. I'm sorry, I just had to.
All right, Creepo. Anyway, I hit all the socials.
Yeah.
So now it's time to go. We got to get some dinner. We probably got to go clean up some toys because I'm pretty sure they all strewn about on the floor.
Yeah.
So for Mikayla,
have a good week, people.
And Alfonso, we bid you a good day and adieu. And remember, wash your hands, wear a mask. If you're going to get vaccinated, get some stuff for your arm. Your arm will hurt. If you haven't gotten it, the injection site does it hurts for like 2.5 days. So be prepared for that. If you're not going to get vaccinated, just be mindful that you should still wear a mask because it's the right thing to do. Yeah. But hey, we're not gonna judge you. We aren't God, and only God can judge. Wash your hands, wear a mask, love each other, air hug each other. Remember, if you're going to win, you will win as a winner. And if you lose, you will lose as a loser, but not as a quitter.
Hey.
We love you.
That's a word.
We appreciate every single one of you. And we will see you next time.
Bye.